Hey guys, what's up? Eddie Aho here with KissAnalog.com. Hey, Merry Christmas. It's Christmas Day. So, thought I'd finish up this video here. So, yeah, I took a couple days off so I could do some videos, catch up, relax a little bit. And this is part 2 of the top 3 oscilloscopes for around 400 bucks, under 400 bucks. Okay? So, I wanted to show you some more features because if you are interested in spending that kind of money for an oscilloscope, and you might want to see what these things do, okay? And so I'm going to show you some more features. The Uni-T has some really cool features. The Rigol and the Signet, they do as well. So I'm going to show you a few more features, okay? So, and then I'll talk a little bit about this. Again, the Signet 1202X, 8-inch screen. These are 7-inch screens. This screen, however, seems much bigger because I can turn off the menu and it opens it up to use the full length. So it actually looks as big as a bigger screen just because you don't lose that space around the menus, which I think is really awesome. I really like that. So a little more updated than the other two scopes, this Uni-T. So anyway, somebody asked me, why didn't I use the Rigol, the 800 series? And that's because right now, until the end of the year, it is on sale for just under $400. So I could have added it, but then after the end of the year, when the price goes back up, it'll go up above $400. And I got another video I'm going to do right after this one about the best scopes, you know, at the next price range. Okay? And that'll make some of you guys happy, I think. But you get amazing scopes at this price. They're 8-bit, yes, but we've been using 8-bits for a long time, so they're very powerful. You know, these scopes here are, I think they're showing all deep memory, right? They have FFT, really nice FFTs on them. They also have XY mode. I'm going to show you that. They have digital decode, and they might not have a huge list of buses that they can do, but they do the really common ones. And so at this price range, you're getting a lot of scope. I mean, it's crazy what you get in a scope for under $400. So I thought it was important to do this video because now the 12-bit scopes came out and everything, now the next price tier going up, there's some new options, right? We're going to talk about that in the next video. It's crazy at this price range you can get scopes this good. So let's jump in. Let me show you because it's another long video. Hey, yeah, I don't like long videos either. It takes a lot of time. It's like logarithmic. I mean, how much more time it takes me to edit a long video than a shorter video is exponential. So yeah, but I thought it was important because I want to show you all the features. So anyway, there you go. Let me know what you guys think. Like short videos where I just kind of show you some highlights, or do you like these deep dive videos? I think on the top scopes for a certain price range, I just felt like in the past I did shorter ones. I just thought that I'd do a longer one here. Okay, so maybe when I do the next top scope and next price range, let me know. I think I might do that shorter just for myself, but if you really want a long one, maybe I'll do it longer. But I kind of feel like 2 long videos, I'm ready for a short video. And I'm ready to make this longer. Let's jump in this thing. Okay guys, I have this multi-frequency waveform on the screen, and I did that because my trigger's up here, okay? So it's only triggering on one waveform. Otherwise, every time something crosses over this line, see, and the line disappears if I let go for a minute. But yeah, there you go. But when you move it, it tells you the voltage and the line. So neat thing, right? So now once I get down below the second hump, it's going to trigger on that too. So it's putting this, and I'm right at the top of the second hump. So it's putting it right there in the middle because that's where my trigger position is. So I've got 2 waveforms. It's triggering on the tall one. And then when that little second tallest one touches that trigger point, it triggers right there on the top. Now, if I bring it down, you'll see it moved that second hump over as I go down. But now, when I hit the third tallest hump, look at that, it's trying to get 3 triggers, and it's got the tall one, the second tallest, and the third tallest. And what if you had a transient like that just bouncing around, you couldn't quite capture it? So what you could do is go to display, and you go to persistence. Right now it's set for minimum, and let's go down to 1 second, because that'll be long enough for it to hold. That's the old-fashioned analog scope. It holds it, and then it fades away, and every 1 second it'll refresh. But I mean, these are much better than the old analog scopes that had the phosphor safe. But anyway, there you go. Now, something else cool. We can go to the second set of menus on this thing and go to color and turn it on. And color gives you kind of history, like a certain color might be red that is hitting the most often, the tallest one. And then the next color, you know, so when you have a bunch of different transients, an exciting waveform, you get kind of a rainbow, and you can kind of tell which ones are there most often. Okay, so this also has a color invert, which is pretty cool. So if you want blue to be the most hottest color, so anyway, we'll go back there and transparency. I think I've talked about those other things. So there's persistence, and watch. Okay, let's get that big menu back. Get rid of the menu, get the big screen back. Okay, now watch. If I move this around, it doesn't bounce around as much because they're kind of persisting. So I can move it around. And so what if you're getting some really weird waveforms? Now look, see the red waveform in the middle? That's the, see, you can kind of see the red one in the middle. The color shows you which waveform's happening most often. So if I try to get 2 humps, so if I'm going completely off where it's not triggering on anything, just down to that first one. Now, if I go to the first hump, it's nice and red, solid. But if I just drop down to the second hump once in a while, it just goes blue. It's not happening very often, so it's a different color. And if I hit the third one, we can start seeing different colors here. But, you know, I think you kind of get the idea. Persistence, cool thing. All right, I want to show you another neat thing this guy has. On the home menu, we have this record, pass, fail, and all this stuff. And if you go up to record, play, stop, record, see, here we have the fast forward, reverse, and the stop. So that's what that is. It'll record a bunch of waveforms, and you can set things up. You can say end frame, play, put a delay between them, an interval between them. That way, if something's happening not very often, but it's very fast, you can have your scope set up for something very fast, but it's going to wait. You know, you can set this thing up so you can try to capture those images, and then you come back and play through it and everything, okay? So that's a really cool thing. And you got fast acquire, that's where it flashes real fast if you really need to do something like that. Now, this is another feature. It's kind of funny. They call it this simometer. But anyway, it's your frequency counter. It just puts it right there. So you can turn that on or off. I usually just leave it on. And then you can assign it to which channel, okay, that you're watching. Now look, here's a DVM. Now also the help, right? Kind of like how Rigol had the help button. You got a help button here. You can turn that on, okay? And so as you're going through things, you can get your help. But here's DVM. Source, you can set, we're on channel 1, okay? So you can set which channel. And mode, you can go AC, you can go AC plus DC. So you have a really nice multimeter in this scope, okay? And I'll show you something that's really neat about it. So let's turn it on. So there you are, okay? So let's say it's 1 volt RMS, and that's pretty cool. Okay, so now this frequency is 10 kilohertz. That's pretty nice, because most multimeters are only good up to about 1 kilohertz, right? So let's drop the frequency down, see if it changes. Maybe we're rolling off. And let's capture some more on the screen. 1.07. So I was trying to see if I can get better accuracy, if I get more waveforms, but it's doing a good job, right? Okay, so you don't really have to get a whole bunch of waveforms on there. You can spread it out if you want. Take a look at this and you still got a nice multimeter. So that's another nice feature versus the measurement tool, which might need more waves. So it's just a really cool feature. Now, okay, let's go to 1 megahertz. Let's see if it's good for that. I don't know, guys. I haven't done it yet. It looks like it dropped just a touch, but it didn't roll off a lot, right? It's still pretty darn accurate out to 2 places. So, okay, let's go to 10 meg. Again, I don't know. I haven't done it yet. Okay, looks like it's dropped off there. Whoops, let's get the trigger down here. Yeah, it looks like it's starting to roll off. So, okay, so there you go. There's 10 megahertz, but 1 megahertz is good. So you got a multimeter that goes out to, well over audio frequencies, right? So let's go to 5 meg. And it's getting close. So, maybe 3 meg. It's probably designed for 1 meg. So just nice round number, because a 1 meg, it seemed to be really good. I'm going to go back 1 meg. And then, yeah, so, it's just rolled off just a little bit, right? So that's a pretty darn nice multimeter for trying to read audio waveforms or whatever, complicated waveforms even, true RMS obviously. So there you go. Just want to show you that feature. All right, I want to show you how cool FFT has gotten on these scopes. Like this scope right here, it's an 8-bit scope, sure, like these other two. But this guy, I think you can see how they just stepped up the game. They've done a lot of great stuff. If this is like 10 or 12 bits, it would be everything. But let me show you the FFT. They've just made it so nice. So, okay, so I pushed the math. Now, it's on FFT because I've been there before. But you have your logic, your digital stuff, advanced math, and so on. But we're going to go to FFT, okay? Well, let me show you logic just for a moment. So you have your different types, okay? You have your and, or, not, XOR. So pretty cool stuff. You got your 2 channels here. So it's just those are the kind of options it's giving you. And so I just think that's pretty cool. And now we go to the next screen and there's thresholds. You can set your thresholds for each channel too. Okay, so you can set up your digital logic and have it do your math. That's just a cool function. I don't think I've seen that on a scope before. Okay, let's go to the FFT. Well, here, let's go to filter. Haven't shown filter because that's also a cool thing. So you got a low pass filter, high pass, band pass, or stop pass. So you can also set up a filter so that, so you can do whatever you think you might want to do. So that's just another cool feature I just haven't seen on, scopes in this price range for sure. Okay, let's go to FFT. Now, parameter setup, I guess is what that means. But look at all these things. Here's your source, channel 1. That's the channel we're in, okay? And Hamming window. Here, let's go to Hamming. Well, here, one thing I want to show you on source, you can just choose any one of your 4 channels, okay? But on your window, you can go down to Hamming, and it has flat top down there. See, whoops, there we go, flat top, and then you roll back to the top of Hamming and so on, okay? So let's just go ahead and, I'll just choose Blackman for the heck of it. Vertical units, it's volts, dB volts, okay? Now, if our channel was set up for current, it'd give us something different. But, okay, now the points. Now, right now, it's maxed out at 1 meg, but, you can go down if you want faster action. You don't need the full 1 meg, but it's really cool that you can get 1 meg on this, guys. And then our next one. So now the full thing is just puts everything on one screen, okay? You can do split screen, so we can see the waveform up here and thing down here, or we can try to fill up the whole screen with our independent, okay? So that's a really cool feature. So let's see. Okay, so on the mode here, you go to split, or independent. Let's go to independent so we get one big window. But the other thing we want to do before we quite do that, let's go back to full so I can see the waveform. And let's get a bunch more waves in there so we get more resolution. So it has to take a lot of points to give us nice sharp points. So let's see if that does it. Usually if I can see a bunch of individual waves, then it does it. Now we have that multi-frequency waveform, so I'm just curious to see what frequencies we have in that. So, okay, let's get rid of that thing. And what else is going on? Okay, oh, frequency range. Well, you know what? The other thing is, yeah, dB volts. Okay, so we got all that set up. And then frequency range. Right now it's set up for 25 meg. So let's see if I come down, I can go start, stop, or I can go frequency range. That's pretty cool. But let's do the start, stop thing, okay? I'm going to go and. Now, if I just hit this button again, I can say, well, let's stop at, I'm going to stop at 10K. So we're just going to go real low frequency for now. Okay, so I just roll this around until I get the things I want. There's 10K. And look at that. That's pretty cool, right? So we got 1K, 2. So we got, 10 grids. So we got 10K across here. So this is 1K. Up here it says this is 5K in the middle and 10K over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So, and then here's probably harmonics of those. So I think that multi-frequency thing was 1 kilohertz, 2, 3, and 4 kilohertz all added together. That's what was making that. So it's pretty cool. And also see this list over here. So there's a lot of cool things this new tool will do. The tracking. Well, here, I gotta, you know what? I've got to come down here and show you some other things. Detection mode, okay? So we're at peak detection. You can average things. Well, here, I'll show you. You can peak, sample, average here. You can average, you can peak, sample, everything here too, okay? And I can just turn that off too. But you know what? I'm going to go to sample just for fun right now. And then average. If you were averaging, you could average how many cycles right now. It says 2 there. Max holds off, okay? So I could capture the max, frequency. It'll capture, like if we have a spike, it'll capture that. Minimum hold, same thing. And then you can reset track so you can start over, okay? Because you see kind of a histogram going on with the max hold. There's a yellow thing down here, some stuff down here, but the peaks are always about the same spot. The noise floor changes a little bit, and this is minus 60 dB, so that noise floor is down there a ways, right? Okay, let's come back up here, and I'll turn peak off, okay? And let's go back to here. All right, guys, the other thing I want to show you is that when you come down here to mark, you can hit this, and right now it says 5 points. So we have 5 points over here, and you can see the markers right there. So when you get the markers, it's just automatically selecting the top because I've got an auto mode, right? But you can go to threshold. And then with the threshold, you come over here and you can move. See right here, this is going, let's see, the threshold is coming up. So if I drop it down, we're going to start getting some down here. So look, if I bring that threshold down like that, I can go to this marked list and it'll show like all these markers, like, what frequencies and what values they are. So really cool that it does that. But when you turn it off, it uses this part of the screen over here and shows you your top 5 markers. So I just thought that was really cool. You got manual mode and you can turn them off, but I'll just turn them on auto again and we're back to 5 points. So I could go more points if I want, and it's going to find the next highest point. So that's another way of doing it. So you don't have to, change your threshold to this minus 60. You can just do it that way. And then when you go to list, you're going to see those points, okay? So if I go to a little bit less, like let's say 6, and then I go to my list, It only shows me the top 6. Okay. But yeah, when when you're doing this over here, I think this maxes out at 5. So once you go 6 or more, then you want to go to your list so you can see them all. Okay. I just think you can see there's a lot of features as I'm kind of racing through that you can play with. But man, they've made the FFT very powerful with all the measurement tools on this. Oh, you know what? I just want to go to measurement now that we're here just to see what you can do. Okay, look. Will it give me a max measurement? Let's see if it did that. Max 2.44 volts. I thought it would give me a dB, so it's not really giving me a measurement. It's not connecting the measure. Oh, well, let's see. Source. Oh, yeah, here we go. Math. Okay, let's go to math, and let's go see what we can do now. I'll choose max again. Okay, let's see if it gave it to us. Yeah, it did. It's in red. It's hard to see. So that's one thing is, with the display, it's kind of covering up my measurements, right? But it's there, just hard to see. That's too bad, right? Now, let's see if we go back to the math menu. Now, one thing, see how I accidentally hit the button twice? Now, see, I'm not seeing my waveform. It's kind of a bummer. I've noticed that on different scopes, is it resets the frequency range. I don't know why it does that. It'd be nice if it didn't do that, if it just remembered your last settings, right? Oh, which reminds me, I want to show you one more thing. But anyway, so there's the peaks again, tracking's on. The next menu, detection, mark. But when you go to the setting here, you can come over here to independent, and let's go to full and see what it shows. Well, the measurements over here, it's still hard to see, right? So you'd have to move the wave out of the way. That's kind of weird. Let's try split. Okay, so you got your frequency here. And, I don't know what this window is. There's some points in here. And then you got your main FFT window here. Yeah, I'm curious what this one is, guys. I need to play with this more, obviously. But, yeah, anyway, pretty cool. All right, there's that other thing I wanted to show you. I'm going to turn off the math. And in the utilities, let's see, system, self-cal, clear data. If you go to right here, here it is, bootload. So you can have it just go to default when you turn it on, okay? Or you could say the last time, the last measurements you set up, you want the scope to come up, set up that way. So I think that's pretty cool. And then the power set, you can have always on or always off, whatever that is. Actually, I don't even know what that one is, guys. All right, guys, on the home button, this thing's just full of features. I just want to show you a couple more. There's all these auto set things. So active channel, you can say auto set or keep. So we're going to keep it. Right now, trigger is auto set or keep. We're going to keep the trigger. And acquire, auto set or keep. So just, more features, just really cool. All right, guys, there's just one more, I think. I'm sure there's plenty I'm missing, but another really cool one, I think, you usually see on more expensive scopes. Let's see, utility, and it's under I/O, so input-output settings. And I guess it's a output because it's this probe compensation. So look at this. I set it to 10K. You can go to 1K, 100 hertz, 10 hertz. So you can, if you're focused in a certain area and you just want to compensate your probe for that
frequency range, you can see if it makes any difference to do that. I think that's pretty cool. Okay, so what that would look like is, here, let's go to 10K. I've got the scope set up. Here, I'll just go to auto set. And there we go. And we got a 10 kilohertz waveform. Okay, so you can see 10 kilohertz up here, the frequency counter. So I left that turned on. So, okay, so let's go back to utility, and let's say we want to go to 1K. So I can select that, and look, you can see that it went to 1K. Okay, so I have to come down here and change this, and we're getting the 1K counter. So it's interesting. The counter gives me a good count, even if it doesn't see more, full cycle. I think that's really cool that it does that. And whenever I'm making changes here, you're seeing the changes here. Now look at that. I could compensate that, and that's usually the way I do. I like to blow it up so I can compensate when I'm zoomed in. So, when you compensate like this, it just looks square. But especially if you're taking 10 millivolt readings, you want to compensate in that. I have another video where I go into all this stuff, and I think it's a relatively short video. I'll put the link down below. But yeah, so there you go, guys. That is pretty cool, right? 1 kilohertz. You want to see the slower one? Let's go 10 hertz. Look at that. Now, there we go, 10 hertz. Let me get the trigger on there. That's interesting that the trigger is not wanting here. Oh, you know what? I'm at such a low I'm at such a low frequency. I'm in roll mode. So yeah, so you have to come out of roll mode, because just rolling across the screen is doing what it's supposed to. So as soon as I come out of that, you get the arrows. Okay, yeah, that was a really low frequency setting. All right, and another thing, since we're here, the output select, it's on trigger. There's that BNC connector on the output. So you could go where it'll give you, well, the trigger, you could set it up to trigger on something so you capture a screen based on some other trigger. But you can also do the pass-fail criteria, where if it passes or fails, you get a trigger on the output. Or you can set your DVM. I guess it's an analog reading that goes output. So I think that's pretty cool. This is just your IP stuff, all that stuff. Then RS-232, you can set up all that stuff. So since I'm here, I guess I'll show you that. But yeah, I just thought I'd show you that. Okay, guys, let's take a look at the Rigol. Look at some of the special features. Now, one thing, remember, it had the force, which the Signet didn't have. Uni-T did have it, but I don't know if I pointed that out. It has a force button as well. So we'll look for it on the Signet again. I just don't remember seeing it, but I've looked for it. Anyway, so on here, we don't have a home button. We had Uni-T. We have a utility button, though. So if we go to utility, there is this record feature. So here, let me turn off the zoom feature. You go to record, and you get the play buttons and all the stuff you got on the Uni-T. You don't have the separate buttons like you did on the Uni-T down here with the knob with all the controls. Here is, Uni-T had the soft buttons plus these, right? So, but you do have that stuff. And so if you hit the down arrow, you got play options and record options. So the length, the interval. So you can set those things up here as well. So the Rigol has that record feature also. Now, if we go to I/O, like we did on the Uni-T, I don't see a place to change the frequency for the compensation. That's kind of an interesting thing Uni-T did. That it's kind of like they went out and did everything they could on a budget scope. I think they're just trying to max out an 8-bit scope. So yeah, you don't see that here, right? You see the GPIB, the setups for the connections on the back, right? The COM ports. So we have that. There's pass fail, and so also it doesn't look like you can assign that button for a multimeter or other things either. It does have this pass fail, so it does have that. And I'm just trying to think. I thought there's something else I wanted to show you. Vertical ref, yeah, it has that. Power set. Oh, so it does have a setting, so you can go last or default. So it does have that one. It doesn't have as many settings, as the Uni-T, but it does have that one. Let's see. Let's try and see if there's something else. Okay, so I think I got it there. I'm going to show you the FFT on this one. All right, I got it plugged in channel 1. We're going to do the auto setup, which auto's right here. Man, that Uni-T does this super fast, doesn't it? Okay, so there's that. Now let's bring the trigger up here so it stops. There we go. Okay, I'm going to turn off the cursors there. And can I just push it? Yeah, I think I just did it that way. All right, so it looks like we're doing well. We're going to go to math. And here's the decode stuff. We're going to go right here. Let's go next screen. Okay, so I go to this button, and instead of A and B, I come down to FFT right there. And there we go. So we're in FFT mode. Okay, so we've got it turned on down here. So we got the dual window. And so we have center and hertz per division. I was trying to see if we had the start stop option. Scale is 10 dB. I think we're 20 dB over there, so we're going to match that. Rectangle. We're going to go to the black one, kind of match it up. Okay, we're in trace mode, not in memory mode. Okay, here's the screen, the view size. I forgot where it was, but here it is. So you get both or half, but you don't get just the one. Unless, let me see, sometimes you can turn channel 1 off. Nope, it turns it off. Some scopes you can, some scopes you can't. You can turn off the signal and it keeps FFT, but not in this case. So, all right, that's fine. Let's go back to math stuff. Source channel 1. Trying to make sure we have everything set up. Okay, so in this case, hertz. We're going to do center and hertz per division. So we had, I'm trying to remember, was it 10K on the other one? So we're going to do 5K for center. I was just wondering if I get a menu if I push that, but we don't. So I just use this button here. And man, it is sensitive. Okay, I'm going to do this one because I think that will help me get better resolution on this guy. Yeah, see, now I got good resolution. So 5K in the middle, 10K across. And see how I don't have very close spikies? That's because I have too many of these. So let me, first of all, move channel 1 up. Oh, it's moving my FFT. I was kind of worried about that. So here, let me move this. Try to get that out of the way. Now, if I make it lower in amplitude to get it out of the way, you have to watch this to see if you affect that, because if you get too low, see how it starts affecting it? And see, the bigger I go, the better, the deeper these things go. So you want resolution there. So that's why it'd be nice if we could change that, right? Okay, go back to math and okay, let's go back to view and maybe do it that way. Okay. And now let's get more waveforms and then we'll get sharper things here. We should. Okay, we kind of lost them. Okay, one thing that's kind of a bugger. Okay, I think that's similar to what we had before. Okay, one thing that's kind of a bummer on some of these guys is it changes your settings once you do that. So you have to go back and redo it. Okay, because the number of samples and all that kind of stuff, I can't get down to 10K. Oh, wait. Oh, hertz per division. I want 1 hertz per division. I think I put 10K there before, so sorry about that. I think I messed that up. Let's get, I was thinking of the bandwidth thing. So let's go here and put that at 5K. Okay, I'm changing my generator to 1K because I think it got changed when I was playing around. There we go. Now I have to get more cycles up here. And you see how, well, they should get thinner, but let me get the right hertz per division. And then I'll get 10K back here. See, it's kind of a pain. I wish it wouldn't automatically change your numbers for you. 5K, right? There we go. Now, 10 dBs per division might give better resolution as far as the screen, but it looks like the same thing, right? 5K is in the center, so it's 4, 3, 2, 1. So we just have more grids here. So we got 1K, 2K, 3K, 4K, and then these are those harmonics. So, and if this is 0 dB, that'd be 20, 40, 60. You know what? Maybe I did have 10 dBs on the other one because that doesn't seem right. Okay, so now I'm in math. I think I can change it this way. Yeah, I just changed it to 10 by changing this. So, okay, let's move that up. Okay, the first line there is 0 dB, 4 close to that. Now remember the multimeter on the other one gave us about 1 volt, right? So, you know what, let's just do measurement and see. Source, let's see if we can, oh, you know what, it won't let us do math when we're in FFT mode. So see, that's what I meant when I was talking about the Uni-T. A lot of scopes are that way. That's, you know, back in this era, that was kind of common. So this Uni-T is just has a little more advanced FFT stuff, but still, you know, you can still see a pretty good picture. You just can't measure it. See, when I go measure all, it doesn't give me any FFT measurements. But okay, well, anyway, it should, when I do source, it should let me go down to math. But since I'm doing FFT, I can't do it. All right, let's get on math. You know, one thing I want to make sure that oh, that's funny. I thought I could just push the button. Usually you can push the button a couple times and toggle it off, but I guess I have to come here and say operation off. That's kind of interesting. That's an extra step, I think. Okay, I was looking for a button to get rid of the menu, but there's no getting rid of the menus. Anyway, I can get rid of the measurements, so off. All right, so center that. Let's see, channel center. Okay, so guys, let's say we're looking at that and we want to zoom in on something, right? So I just want to show you zoom again. If I just push this in, and I hope on the camera you can see this, but it's kind of blue here, and then this window over here is black in the background, and that's what we see here. Okay, now when I move this thing here, it changes this magnification, this window right here. So if I just keep on going, it zooms in towards the center of the trigger, which is right there, which is this. So yeah, that I just wanted to show you what that looks like. It's just different than the Uni-T. It looks more like the Signet, but I actually really like this. Up here in this window up on top, it's that window I was talking about before, where it's a representation of all the stuff you're capturing, and then this window here is actually this whole window here. All right, guys, I'm not going to use any sound correction here, so everything's off. Like, I've only got a few things on, so I'm going to stop talking so you can just listen to it quiet, and then I'm going to turn this on so you can hear it. Come on, okay? All right, so now I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to wait for it to come on, and so I don't interrupt its power on cycle. But I'm going to turn it off, and then I'm going to plug the Uni-T in and the Signet so you can hear each one, okay? All right, now it's the same thing now. I'm going to stop talking for a moment so you can hear the background noise, and then I'm going to turn it on from the back because this has a mechanical switch on the back, like the Rigol has a mechanical switch on the front. Here goes. Okay, now I don't think it gets any louder when I actually turn on the soft switch, but let's do it. So I didn't think it got any louder. The Uni-T is very quiet. The Rigol is noticeably louder. I don't know if you could hear that on the camera, but anyway, it's noticeably louder than Uni-T. Uni-T is very quiet. Like, it's very, I mean, you can hear it, but it's a whisper. Once you turn on something else on your bench, you know, it's most likely something else is going to drown out the noise of this oscilloscope. All right, guys, just want to show you a close-up of the zoom feature. So let me hit the auto button. And it's very fast, I think. So here, let's move the trigger up. Okay, now what I want to show you is if I got a bunch of waveforms, go back to this, and I want to zoom in. So then I just push this button here to change scale so you get a zoom window. Now, unlike a lot of the scopes I've seen before, like both the Signet and Rigol, there's a grade in scale on the sides where, here, I'm going to zoom in. Up here you can see it's kind of like the Rigol, but it shows brackets up here. And those brackets are actually right here on the screen. But in person you can see them. You can see the brackets. They're just gray. They're about, oh, you know what? They're probably same brightness as the graticule. Let me zoom in real fast. All right, guys, so you see the little brackets here, and you see the little brackets right here. I'll move them so it's more obvious to see them moving around. It goes in, goes out. And what's in those brackets is what you see here. So I just wanted to point that out. It's a different way of doing it. I think the nice thing about it is instead of darkening out some of the other wave that you might want to, you know, see, like if something pops up and then you want to scroll over and see it. Now with this, you have good visibility all the way across. The other thing I want to show you is how, you know, this button over here, let me zoom back out again. The button over here to move this thing around seems to me it moves pretty good. One way, if you want to move it quick and come over, is open up the brackets so they're wider, so you got more stuff, and then it moves faster. So now my center's more over here. So just some tricks, you know, you can really open it up and then move real fast. And so, yeah, you can play around with that kind of stuff. But anyway, I just wanted to show you the zoom feature. All right, guys, and the other thing I just want to show you is the bus, in case I didn't show you that very well. But it's just bus up here. The digital is not installed on this. You have to get the MSO, not the UPO. So this digital button doesn't work. Kind of like the Signet comes with buttons that don't work. So this one has that digital button. But the bus is the different kind of buses, RS-232. And then you go to parameter set for RS-232, and if you go to I2C, you go to parameter set, SPI, and go to parameter set. I just want to show you all the different settings you have for each one of these. Oh, you know what? Okay, so RS-232, you go to parameter set, right? And then if you want to see what I2C is, select that, and then go to parameter set, and you got different setups. So, and over here on type, just to show you that, you get your hex, decimal, binary, okay? So just wanted to show you these things. SPI, let's look at that. Parameter set. Lots of stuff to set up, right? All right, so that I just wanted to show you all those. So I think RS-232 works for CAN too. Let me know if that's true. You guys work a lot with this, but I believe it does. Anyway, I just wanted to show you that. Oh, and the baud rate, as far as speed goes, that's kind of an important one. This one goes, I think the Rigol and the Signet go to 192. So this one goes up for auto setups for 276 meg. That's 0.8 meg. It's pretty high. Those are kind of standards, and then there's a custom one. Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to show you that kind of stuff and show you how the decoding it has. Okay, guys, I kind of wanted to show you the digital stuff on the Rigol. So if you hit, whoops, go down here menu, and then the type, instead of edge, we want to trigger on it. You got all these different things, right? We come down here to RS-232, I2C, and SPI. It's the same kind of stuff the Uni-T has. So you go to RS-232 and it shows these kind of setups, okay? Here's a baud rate. Now the baud rate, you can go down or up to 1 meg and then go to user, like custom. So 1 meg, it's about 3 times slower, right? I mean, there's a couple more settings that the Uni-T had. So yeah, I mean, it's just, newer scope. Okay, so now if we go to I2C, we get these kind of setups. Okay, if I hit setting, we got noise reject, and noise reject was offered on the other one as well. Okay, so I2C, let's go to SPI. Okay, and wow, that's interesting. It's got some stuff here. So here's the settings for that, and here's data, 8 bits. So there's your SPI setup. Okay, just wanted to show you the difference. Okay, guys, let's look at this persistence on this one as well. Okay, so persistence minimum, and it doesn't look like it has the biggest menu, but it's it's got plenty of settings, I think. Whoops, let's go to 1 second, same as we did on the Uni-T. Now if I come down here and hit the second pulse, and then hit the third pulse, you know what? It doesn't quite look as nice, right? Let me turn on the color. Okay, first of all, I'm going to turn up the intensity as well. Okay, brightness. I think there's, okay, where's the color? Display. All right, guys, I could have swore I found color somewhere at one time, but I've gone through all the menus and I just can't find it. And there's up and down arrows on some of the menus. I've done everything. You would think it'd be in display, right? And there's no up or down. So I don't know. I got persistence set up 5 seconds now. So if I get a few more cycles in here and bring down the trigger, so again, trigger level and the cursor, just like the Uni-T, and then they disappear when you let go. But here, okay, now we're triggering on 2. And I don't know if it's just me, and I don't know if it just had to do with color. Oh, right there. But with the Uni-T, it seemed like it was really easy to capture all 3 where they look pretty solid. And this one, it seems like as soon as I go down to that third one, right there, I mean, you can see him and it's doing its thing. But now if I go up and down like I did with the Uni-T, so you can kind of see the histogram. If I go off the screen and down, you can see the bright waveform in the middle of all the stuff, because 5 seconds, it's really storing it for a long time, so it makes it a lot easier. Wow, I swear I saw color, right? You guys probably saw it too in this video. So, yeah, I know you're all screaming at me, but sorry, it's late. I got a day job too, and things should not be that difficult to find. So it's kind of quiet in here. I'm going to be quiet for a moment so you can listen to the background sound, and then I'm going to hit the button, okay? I would say the sound of this one is in between the Uni-T and the Rigol. It's probably closer to the Uni-T. It's fairly quiet scope, but yeah, I'd say the Rigol is the loudest for sure, and the Uni-T is definitely the quietest. But Siglant, pretty quiet as well. Okay guys, got the signal coming in, same signal. I'm just going to hit the auto again. Okay, there we go. Pretty fast, right? Okay, why isn't the triggers, why is that moving so slow? Okay, anyway, so after you do the auto on this one, it does give you these options where, you know how I just added more signals? I could go fewer signals or more signals. It's on the rising edge, see that? Or I could go on the falling edge. So it's pretty cool how they give you these different options. And this one here, you know, I've never really used. I've always wondered what that one is. It seems like, I think it's supposed to average and filter out noise. It changes all the settings when you do that. So I think that's what that is. You got a noisy signal, use that one. And then this one's an undo. So I like the undo button, but this is a cool setup thing. So it doesn't, here, let me go to display. See here, this one definitely has color grade. Okay, graticule's intensity, let's turn this one up. You know, I've been turning them all up to 100. For some reason, I gotta look at this. For some reason, it's coming in not super bright. Maybe because I'm used to seeing it. Okay, that's the transparency thing. See how it gets opaque and then more translucent? So you can see the menus that pop up. That's kind of what that is. So I like them when they pop up, where they're kind of more translucent, the transparency. So that's a good example of that. Okay, so let's go to acquire. Well, you know what? The trigger, let's move that up here. And I'm going to go back to persistence because it almost seems like it's on. Okay, let's go to page 1. Clear persistence. Yeah, it is on. Persistence infinite. No wonder. Okay, let's turn it off. All right, there we go. Boy, so we already had persistence on. You know, that's something I want to show you, right? So let's go ahead and turn it back on. So we're going to go to 1 second. This has even a smaller menu than the other two. So here I'm going to bring the trigger level above the thing right there. And you can, by the way, guys, as I move it up, it's on the falling edge. You can see that here. Let me go to setup for trigger. See falling edge. That was that setup that I chose. And we got coupling, high frequency reject, noise reject off. That's okay, that's just trigger stuff. So now as I bring the trigger up, you can see the waveform moves with it because it's going to put the part that's triggered right there, the part of the waveform. So if I come down, see how it's moving it over? Now if I come down and hit the second one, that second bump, it's going to start to freak out because now it's going to, well, and it's got persistence. So now the persistence on this works really nice, right? And then we come down to the third one. And I think it looks really good. So I think Signet did a really good job with the persistence thing. Now let's go back to color. And the other thing is everything's where it should be. You know, color, all that stuff, right? So, and look, color. So color works great on the Signet. So yeah, Uni-T and Signet, as far as persistent goes, seems to work a little bit better. So we got nice 3 rock hard. I mean, it's triggering right here in the center on the big wave, on the second one, and on the smaller, the third of the biggest ones. And it's putting them all right there on the rising edge. And as I move the level up, well, if I move it down, you'll see them kind of skate around. Now I'm catching the 4th one. And the 4th one is kind of almost on top of one of the others. Okay, now let's see if I come up here at the top. Well, if I just kind of bounce around, so you can see a histogram of the colors, you know, which colors get activated most often are usually red, and the least ones are blue or light blue. Okay, now if I come up here to the top like I did before, and if I just come down, you'll see it capture that wave and it makes it nice and bright. So that's, you know, the histogram. So it actually makes it, I think it's actually the opposite in this one. It's making the light blue or green the more common one. Now, I don't see a way to invert the colors on the Siglets like the other 2 had. So, you know, just one difference. All right, guys, one thing I like about this Signet, I can't remember if the dash sheet does this, but when you go to trigger, right, the setup, okay, here's edge type. So here's all the different kind of triggers. And as I scroll down, it just shows what it actually means, which I think is really cool. And whoops, I went off the screen. Okay, I'll start at the bottom. Now, the one thing, you can see how squirrely this thing is. So the worst thing about the scope is I feel like this thing is so squirrely. So it's hard to, like, you know, just move it and like, okay, I just want to move down 1. Okay, serial. Okay, cool. All right. Protocol can. Okay, it has I2C. I'll hit that, and then you got these settings here, threshold and that kind of stuff. And then trigger settings, condition start. So it has those things. Okay, I2C SPY. So it's nice when you can just toggle through them this way, right? So instead of using that button, but okay, here, let me go back to SPY, push that in, and I just want to show you the different signals that they, you know, different things you can do, okay? So the one thing about the Signet is it seems like it has more protocols, right? SPY, here's UART. Now UART and CAN might be similar. You guys can tell me, digital guys, please let us know what you know about that. But anyway, so trigger setting, condition start, RX, TX. So bus configure. Here's baud rate. Probably doesn't go as fast as the other ones. It doesn't. But it's a little bit older. Well, I don't know if it's about the same as the Rigol, I think. So yeah, same age as that. But anyway, so it's pretty good though, right? Page 2. Okay, so let's come down to CAN. So CAN high, CAN low. It's, you know, the naming convention's better for CAN, but yeah, from what I understand, the UART, you can do the same kind of stuff. It's just not, CAN is just named better specifically for CAN. But let me know if I'm wrong on that. And then LIN. So this one has an extra one, right? And I don't know if LIN's just not popular. I mean, I've never used it. So CAN, I2C, those are the most common ones for me. But anyway, so there you go, guys. All right, guys, so I am showing you a bunch of stuff on this, but the dash sheet is very similar. What's funny is it's not as similar as you'd think. The buttons, they pretty much the same functionality, but the buttons do different things. Like you push one button, you have to go over and push another button to do something else instead of staying on the same button like on this one. So I like the firmware on this guy better than the Dash E. But anyway, as far as functionality, very similar, okay? So the decode on this one, if you hit decode, you get all this stuff to the protocols. So there you go. So the other one's the trigger. This one's the protocol, the decoding protocol. So yeah, it's just, just more stuff I wanted to show you on this bus, okay? And as I mentioned before, the digital themes right here, I knew I wasn't going to get that, so that button would never do anything. But I do have the wave generator stuff on the back, and I do have the button, so I thought I was going to be able to buy the firmware upgrade and do it, but that never became available for some reason. So save function cannot be used, and digital, same thing. All right, guys, I wanted to go back and show you the bus again. So I showed you the bus stuff before where you set up the bus, but also the part I forgot to show you is the menu on the trigger. So if you go to Edge here, and I love this multi-purpose button, works way better than either one of these two. Signal's by far the worst. So anyway, has all these different things, video, bunch of different menus here. You got your pattern, RS-232, I2C, SPI. So just select one of those guys, and then you can set up the parameters. So coupling, DC, mode, auto, normal, single. So decode set, parameter set, and there you go. So anyway, I just wanted to show you the trigger, all the different trigger options, because they all have lots of trigger options. All right, guys, there's a couple other settings this Uni-T has that kind of pretty special. I haven't seen these, especially on these lower cost scopes, but check it out. If I go to measure over here, just barely see my finger in the top right corner here. If I go to the measure menu, and here's where I can set up the master and slave if I want to multiply these or do some kind of math between those two channels. I can set those up. And here's the parameters I can measure. I can turn them all on just to show you that again. And you can always make the screen big. This screen, when you turn off the menus, it's almost like an 8-inch screen, like a bigger screen. How big this graph is, I mean, it's huge in comparison to, like the Rigol, okay? But anyway, back to the math. Okay, so go to measurements. What I want to show you is down here. So you go to this next button, okay? And you get another window. Now you have these indicator things. Let me show you what that is. Turn that on, and look at that. You have an indicator line right there. And right now it says it's pointing to max. So you're doing math or measurements, and you kind of want to know where on the screen or whatever, like where on the signal that it's measuring. I think this is a good way to show you. So there's max, and here's min. Then let's go to peak to peak. So it shows you, where the things are. Look at RMS. Okay, that's the RMS line right there. So I think this is really a neat feature. And I'm just going to scroll through these. You can go through all this stuff. Well, here, let's look at frequency. Look at that. Just finds the frequency. It shows you where the frequency would be measured. See, sometimes it's like, oh, is it triggering on that or triggering on this? So if I bring my trigger up, does it make it more solid? Lock it in. Yeah, isn't that interesting? This is kind of an interesting wave shape. So it's like, and depending on where I'm triggering, it's jumping around. It's like, well, I'm not sure if it depends on where I trigger or not. It seems like it does its own thing, but I think that's pretty cool. And let's see what else. We got rise, fall. So, well, here, let's just see what it does for rise time. Just curious. Oh, look, it shows the two lines, the rising edge of that wave. And it's just interesting. I'm trying to think if I've seen this before on a scope. So it has all these different things.
I'm just gonna, pretty much everything you can measure, you can put on this indicator thing. And then the threshold thing, you can say the threshold is like rise time is default by 10 to 90%, and the middle is 50. So you can change those things. Those are all you can set them up to customize what you want. Pretty cool, right? So, and then Windows, screen or cursor. Wow. I mean, I think that's pretty cool. So what that does is when it's trying to take these measurements, it's jumping around between, different things. Let's say if we go back to the frequency thing. Okay, let's go to the frequency, okay? Let's say if I select that again. Well, what I can do is I can use these cursors and I can say, well, here, let me help you find what we're looking for. It's somewhere between here. And so now it's trying to find the frequency between these two cursors. See if I open it up, or what if I squeeze down? Now, what if I move this one here and move this one to the top of that one? Now it kind of locks it in. It kind of helps find what you're looking for. So, man, I just wanted to show you that because you guys might, be thinking of different things that you could use that for. And by the way, you notice the little grid up here gives you the measurements for the cursor A and B and the distance between them. So, or the time between them, or however you set that up. But yeah, pretty cool features, right? All right, now I'm going to, let's turn off that, okay? Oh, I guess I have to actually go into here, the indicator, and say turn off. Okay, so I want to turn that off. Okay, we're gonna get a few more waveforms, and what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you something really cool in the FFT. And I'm gonna just set it up while you're looking so you can see how it's done. So, okay, first of all, you would select FFT, okay? So then the parameters, okay, channel 1, that's what we want. Hamming, okay, we'll go with, well, let's just choose Blackman for fun of it, just to change it up. Vertical units, yeah, we'll go with decibels, right? And points, now, for what I'm showing you, if you go too high in points, then it's not going to work, okay? So, and what I'm going to show you is, first of all, let's look, okay, full, and here's split. We can split it up, or here, let me turn it off so you can see what split looks like. So here's the thing down here, here's the waves up here, and you know what, let's get frequency range. Let's go 10K. Right now it's, whoops, that's 0. Okay, start 0, and we're gonna make, whoops, we're gonna make 10K. So trying to go too fast, and then it just slows me down. Okay, so there's 10K. So there's those first 4. And by the way, remember they're over here. There's 5 of them over here. So the 5th one is 0 hertz. So it's way over here. It's that arrow right there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so, and then we don't see anything over here. So now this window here, before I wasn't sure what that, or I didn't know what it was. So now I want to show you what I found. If you go back to parameters, and I was always choosing too many points. So these waterfalls were turned off, but look, it's a waterfall. Now, if you don't know what a waterfall is, you're gonna find out. What it is, look at this. It's like one of those chart recorders. It's just looking across the frequencies, and it sees something here, sees something here, something there. So those are red, and the value would indicate they're higher. And then there's some small bumps over here, and so they show up over here, even though they might be in the grass down here. Over here, you can kind of see them, and then right through here is just kind of grayed out, so they're all kind of mixed up. So that's a waterfall, and it's really handy when you want to see things over time, because this is like happening right now, refreshing, happening.
we can average it, but up here it's just, like I said, chart recorder. So when have you seen a waterfall on a scope that's anywhere near this price? I mean, that's just amazing. So here, you might have noticed it says waterfall 1. Whoops. There's waterfall 2. Check it out. Turn off that menu. I'll turn off, well, I guess it didn't make the screen any bigger in this case because it's just this block. But yeah, now, so waterfall 2, it got rid of the 3 windows and it makes the waterfall window and the FFT large and gets rid of the signal. So, man, I just think this is really impressive. So there you go. It's just working its way up. It'll just continue to scroll, okay? So I just want to show you that, guys. Now, one more thing I want to show you, and we'll turn off the math for that. And let's go to acquire. So memory depth is on auto right now. So you can choose 56 meg if you want. Right up here it says 7 meg. So you can leave it on auto. If you can, sometimes I'll leave it on auto. I find it works really well on the scope. And using FFT, it seems to help set the FFT easier. But sometimes I'll max it out and I'll get better resolution. So I'll force it to do that. And you also have this fast acquire. All right, another really cool thing. I'm going to have to show you on the other 2 scopes just so you can compare because they all have this feature, but it'll show you how nice the one here is. So on Uni-T, so I hit on the horizontal scale, I hit menu. So instead of going time and volts or amplitude this way, so that's what they call YT, I'm going to go to XY, okay? And look, we got all these different windows, but I want to show you this. So if you go to XY, first of all, it turns on my 2 channels because you need 2 channels to do it. And it shows your signals up here, and then it shows your XY box up here. So that's a really neat thing. And let me see. When you do that, here's the thing. Some people want it, they might have signals on their channels 1 and 2, and they want to do the XY on channels 3 and 4. And some scopes you can't do that, but on this one you can, XY 3 and 4. So it turns on channels 3 and 4, turns off 1 and 2. So I just want to point out, you go 2 to 4, 2 to 3, so they have all the combinations here. So I think that's just a really neat feature. People have asked me about that before on other scopes. I mean, I have another scope that costs $1,800 that I do have that feature. I do it a different way. I can assign 2 channels for my X and Y, 1 and 2. So, I can assign the 1 and 2 to whatever channels I want. But that's a nice, quick, easy way to do it. Just go down there and select it, and boom. And then it automatically turns them on for you. Look, 1 and 4. So, isn't that cool? All right, now I really want to show you something impressive. My finger's over here on the right side of the screen. I'm going to hit the cursor button. Check it out. I mean, that is crazy, right? I mean, you can see all the Cartesian, polar, the product, the ratio. So you got all the different math and all the different things on the 2 channels. Here's your delta, channel 1, channel 2. So it shows you the individual measurement for each channel. And then it shows you the delta, the math between the 2 channels. So that is super cool, right? So we can go to type and we can say, oh, voltage, Now look, we get this thing over here. I mean, it's just, I think this is crazy. I mean, somebody's really worked on the GUI interface on this, and they've really added a lot of features. So you go independent or tracking, and look at that. Now tracking, I can move them both together, or I can say, oh, I want to go back to independent. And I also, you can also just toggle through. See, when I turn them off, or right now the bold line's up here. Now I just clicked it, the bold line's down here. I clicked it again, bold lines on both, so now I can move them both together. Click it again, it goes to bold line there. So it just goes back and forth. Now that's because I'm doing voltage. Now if I go time, and you might be able to see there's a little bit cursor. It's a little like dot right here, and there's a square over here. I mean, it's pretty crazy. And you can see the things I'm moving up here too as well. on the top of the screen. So I think that's just nuts. So we go back to voltage, and then down here you got seconds or hertz, so you can go time. You can change, so you can change the units this way. I'll put on hertz, so now we got hertz up here. Source, channel 1, channel 2. I mean, this is just super cool. This is for the cursors, because I'm in the cursor menu. So I can come up here and just say, oh, let's turn off the cursors. But man, that is super cool. All right, guys, just a quick XY thing on this one. We're going to come over to the menu here. There's YT. And, okay, we'll just come down to XY. Hit that. And there we go. We got our box here. We got our window up here. And so let's see if XY. Now, look at this. Same kind of thing. So we can select all the different kind of channels. Let's select 2 and 3, see what happens. Look at that. Sets up the channels just like the Uni-T did. Okay, so that part's all the same, right? So now let's go to the cursors. And we got off, and let's go to manual. So we get a menu over here. It's not as much information or whatever, right? But let's see. We got channel A, B. We can set those up. Cursors, channel A and B. So let's see if we move this. Okay. Turn that on. And okay, so I'm moving the cursor over here, but I don't, so it's a little different, right? I mean, it's still pretty cool. Okay, now I'm going to hit the button, and that selects my other one over here. Move that over, push it, and then click it again. Okay, it looks like it toggles between A and B here. Oh, and then there's A and B right there. Okay, I was waiting for both lines to go either hash, to be the same, but they didn't. I still got a kind of a dashed one here and a solid line there, so that kind of threw me off. So, but yeah, looking down here, I could see that it was selected right here. So, okay, track mode. Let's go to, okay, that was on track. I actually jumped over manual. Let's go up to manual. So what I mean by these little knobs are a little bit fast, a little bit squirty. It's not bad, but like I say, the Signet, I feel like it's the worst of all of them. Okay, so here's how you can set up you can select which one's horizontal or vertical. You can see I'm moving around. So that's manual. And then the other one was tracking. Now let's go down to auto. And auto item. It says, okay, there's no item to select right now, I guess. So go back to this and XY. Okay, so now it shows me those windows inside there, and I can toggle this and move this around. So, it does a lot of the similar stuff to Uni-T. I just don't think it does quite as much. The display's different. It's a different setup, but it's very powerful XY measurement tool. All right, guys, now with the Signet, the XY is up in acquire. So you push acquire, come over here and say XY. All right, so now XY is on, okay? And the memory depth, even though they show you that, I think it just shows you what it is, and you can't, I try to use the multi-purpose button to change it. It doesn't allow you. So now let's go to cursors. Now look, here's our delta stuff, and here's the delta stuff down here for, so it shows angle, radius here. And so it has a lot of information. It's just showing it different. X1 is set at 4.2. So we got these different cursors that we can use here. Now, I think I can also toggle, can I? Okay, I'm moving them both together right there. But if I push them, Y1, yeah, so I can toggle through the multi-purpose Y2 and then Y2 and Y1. Now I'm moving the volts up and down, okay? and then hit it again, X1, X2, hit again, X2 minus X1. So yeah, I can do a lot of the similar stuff. Now this is XY. I can go to just X or just Y with the cursors, right? Or I can go to the XY. So still, the Signet, it's a powerful XY tool. Now, as far as channels go, I've only got 2 channels. So this is the 2-channel version. 4 channels Signet, I'm not sure the features it's going to give you, if it allows you to use, you know, any combination of the 4 channels or not. But yeah, anyway, this is the 2-channel, okay?
All right, guys, so the Signet options for the price, I just want to go over it. It's the SDS1104X, like this one, but it's -U. That's a 4-channel scope. Now, that's 128K FFT. That's still a decent, I mean, you saw when I dropped FFT down, it's still good FFT. It's just 1 meg is amazing on these 3 scopes here. But if you want 4 channels, $399, so it's under $400, okay? And then there's a 2-channel 1202XE, so it'll look like this. Again, all these scopes are going to come with 7-inch screens. I don't know why they got rid of the 8-inch screen in this price range. That was a shame, but saving $1, right? So the 4-channel -E version with the 1 megapoint deep memory, it's more expensive, man. It's like $500, guys. $499. It's kind of crazy that they're charging that much with the 12-bit scopes. Now they're into that 12-bit scope range. So yeah, that's a hard sell. I think that's a hard sell. $379 for the 2-channel like this, you know, that sounds reasonable, right? $399 for the 4-channel with a little bit lower FFT. That's really reasonable. So anyway, that's the Signet options, okay? This Rigol's $350. Now, I really appreciate you using the links down below. They don't cost you anything extra, and it supports the channel for free. So, really appreciate that. And then, this is a 200 meg, but the 100 meg version of this one is $391.20. So, that's a pretty screaming deal, I think. And I think 100 meg is plenty. So, yeah. Anyway, guys, I mean, this one's a 50 meg. So, the Uni-T, I just think it's a winner in this shootout here. Yeah, I just think it's a shootout. So, we're going to do another quick video. I just want to get it done because people are buying scopes. They're antsy. They want to buy scopes at the end of the year, sales and all that kind of stuff. So, I'm going to do another review, next price range, and I've got a couple of scopes here you might be interested in seeing. Okay? So, thanks for watching, guys. 2 big thumbs up to my patrons and 2 big thumbs up to Uni-T for giving me this scope, and to my YouTube member who gave me this. He doesn't want his name sent out there, but he's told me to sell it, do whatever I want, and the Signet, which I bought. So I'm going to sell both these. If patrons, YouTube members want an extra discount, I'd be happy. Anybody else, just email me. Throw a price out there, okay? And so far, no one's asked for one, so I don't know. Let's see what happens. You know, it's interesting because Amazon sells, at least my affiliate link was really low this month in December, which I thought, you know, usually in December goes up higher. So that's kind of interesting, I think. Might be because I'm so busy at work, I just didn't do a lot of videos, which apologize for. I'm going to catch up in the next few days. But yeah, so that's probably it. Do less videos, you get less money from Amazon. Kind of bad timing because that would have came in handy for Christmas, right? Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Thanks for the guys that have hit the super thank you button. It's been a little bit, but hey, if you like this video, I really appreciate you just doing something for free. Just hitting the like button down there, subscribing. That helps. Thanks, guys. Hope you had a great holiday. And for you that don't celebrate it, hope you guys had a great weekend, whatever. So, but yeah, Merry Christmas to all you other folks that celebrate that like I do. So, It's the end of the day. It's kind of late. I'm going to get this video out. I might even post it tonight since it's part 2. Probably won't get very many views. Part 2s usually don't. So let me know if this was useful or if I should have spent my time doing something else. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. See you next time.